with this fucking
Back like we never left.
this fucking dumb shit I saw on Facebook. So this fucking idiot called Officer Daniels. Oh, sorry, Darla. I'm working on F-bombs. But this jackwagon, dude. One,
Let's try to keep the.
I'm a huge fan of cops, if you couldn't tell. It says, now this is him. This is his pitch. He's plugging his own product here, so don't. He says this. He said a cop friend sent him this. Been using your product for about 6 months now. I had terrible anxiety, crippling migraines, and mild PTSD before I started using it. Talking about CBD. CBD is a cop here. I now have little to no symptoms of anything and get feelings of well-being often. I also had a recent drug test that was no issue. Just wanted to say thank you for such a great product. Truly changed my life. Okay, so this cocksucker has put numerous people in jail for marijuana, and he has the fucking balls to brag about and plug his CBD on Facebook. I mean, where are we at, America? I just can't get over that.
How do you know he's put away? Does it have his record up there?
Anyways,
Is he even a cop?
Officer Daniels.
Yeah, but
Yeah, he was a cop.
he could be Officer Tommy.
Yeah.
It's just corrupt.
Shout out
Facebook.
to corrupt police everywhere.
No, corrupt Facebook.
Oh, fuck the police. Shout out to Amanda. Don't know her last name for completing treatment today. Shout out to you. That's where we got the special rock from. So we got a new member of the graduation club and a new member of the house. So welcome home. Just got back from the Y. How do you feel? What are you shaking your head about? Oh, shout out to you, Pete. Loyal subscriber, loyal friend, and he's gonna be on tomorrow. I know I said I was gonna shut you on the podcast, but dude, I'm so excited to have you tomorrow. It's gonna be good, dude. If you don't listen to any of our podcasts, listen to the Pistol Pete episode because I'm guaranteeing it's gonna be a fucking riot. Beep. Yeah. So got the laptop out today, folks. Feeling pretty important here. What do you got, Bo?
Oh, just another day of sobriety.
Yeah, it felt good to go to the Y.
I'm tired. That pre-workout jacked me up so much yesterday. I haven't slept. It was just like I was back in the saddle. Fell off the wagon. Didn't you feel that? You didn't.
I just felt lethal. Like I told the lady, I just felt, man, I just felt
You
good.
slept last night?
A little bit, not much. I took my medicine too late, so.
I haven't been.
Oh, that's
taking
why
it.
I was up messing around, and I swept the stairs coming down here, so I didn't feel like I was gonna break my neck every time coming downstairs to the studio. And
You what?
so I didn't have to feel like I was gonna break my neck coming down the stairs to the studio.
No, but what did you say?
I swept the stairs,
Oh.
so
Mm-hmm.
and then I
About time you started pulling your weight around.
then I did a little bit of the bathroom, and then I tried to figure out that washer, but it just wouldn't give. Did you figure it out?
Mm-hmm.
It started actually mixing stuff around, or did it just start pouring water the whole time?
Nah, that hose is down too far. I think it must have to fill up to a certain level, and then it shuts the valve or something.
So would you just mess with the hose?
I just held it up until it filled up, and then it starts its cycle. Might have to modify that a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I went to the gym today. Worked out some shoulders, triceps. Did about a mile on the bike. That felt pretty good. Ankles a little sore, but it's hell hanging in there. My hips haven't been a problem. Did some swimming. Lost the race to old Bobo, but it's all right. I was worried about losing my contacts more than anything.
Yeah, we knew how that was going to turn out before it started.
I'm not ashamed to admit that I lost that race. Yeah, I tried to climb the rock wall the other day. Didn't get too far, but had a little fun. Hurt my toe.
I'm kind of disappointed you gave up on that already.
What, the rock wall?
Mm.
Just 'cause I scraped my knee. Want to let that heal up first, that war wound heal up, and then I'll probably get back on that saddle.
All right.
I've been
I'm
watching.
going for that vertical mile.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
Maybe
I've been
get
watching
that
a lot of
t-shirt.
rodeo time on Facebook, and it make me want to get back into the steer wrestling game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I got a funny story. So, every year when we brand it at the farm, since I was a kid, we'd brand ours. We'd brand our cattle, and then we'd go to every neighbor within that weekend, and the surrounding weekends of and we brand their cattle. So like we'd do ours, the CW or CU bar, and then we'd go to Joel Grieger's, and then we'd go to like Bob Gidmanson's. Well, we skipped Joel's for some reason, and we went straight to Bob's. And Bob Gidmanson, shout out to you, Bob Gidmanson, great friend of my old man, great friend of my grandpa Dwayne, great friend of mine. Taught me how to play cards, taught me how to shoot dice. Taught me how to help teach me how to be a man. Hell of a cowboy, and there ain't too many real cowboys left. I know about 3. First of all, first one would be Dwayne Turnquist, R.I.P. My grandpa, greatest cowboy ever lived. Archie Lynch, my old lady's grandpa. I call him the Duke, badass mofo. Wayne Turnquist, my father, the baddest mofo around. And Bobby Goodmanson. Anyways, I was like 19, 20. Just getting my legs in the patch. Just got my truck, so my dick's swinging pretty hard here. And I take Jarrett, my first pusher, out to brand because he wanted to come to the farm, And this is the same dude I shot. But he made it. And I'm telling him, how to be a head guy because, everybody starts off as a head guy. And, for some, that's all you ever are is a head guy, I didn't know who you are. But, when you step to the big leagues and, you get that back leg, that's when you're a real cowboy. Anyways, so I'm telling him, because he wants to start off small. And if you got a squirrely head guy or a new head guy, you don't want a small calf because the smaller they are, the more they kick, the more they move, the more they fuck around. And I kind of wanted to scare him a little bit, I ain't gonna lie, And I know what I can handle, or I thought I knew what I could handle. And I see this fucking big fucking steer come in. And I'm half-ass scared, you know what I mean? This fucker must have been born last March, you know what I mean? And in all honesty, folks, we probably should have put him in the chute, but he ain't a cowboy if you shoot him. And so I grab this fucker's back leg. Jarrett gets on the wrong side first, and old boy starts kicking. I get him settled down. Jarrett gets around to the left side there. I give him a nod. He gives me a nod, and we jack this fucker out. Boom. Well, Jarrett jacked him up too high, and I got a little too cocky. And when we drop him, his leg slips out of my hand. And that fucker feels that leg slip out of my hand, and he starts kicking to beat the band, Well, Jarrett let go because he didn't know what to do. It was his first head ever, He'd never been on a head before. And, God, thank God. Bobby Gibson's son, Garrett Gibson, I don't even know where this big fucker came out of because Garrett Gibson's all of fucking 350. And I bend over to grab that leg again, and this fucker kicks, and I see this fucker coming straight from my fucking eye. And out of nowhere, Garrett Gibson's hand, poof, comes out and stops this fucking, probably fucking 800-pound steer's kick, mid-fucking kick, and like inches from my fucking cornea, dude. And he says, "God damn it, Tommy, get out of my fucking pen." I had to fucking waddle back to my old man's holding nut bucket, because he was waiting for me to drop this fucker. He saw the whole thing go by. He saw Garrett stop that fucking hoof. And boy, you want to talk about being ashamed, man. Holy shit, I felt like I needed to go back to the kitchen, you know what I mean? So I had to wait a couple rounds, go around before I got back in there, but needless to say, we took small calves the rest of the day. That's what happens when you want to be a cowboy when you're not a cowboy. Pretty funny story, I think. Good time. I miss wrestling calves. But yeah, I've been listening to these rodeo stories and these old boys talking about how it was back in the day. And, God, man, I always wanted to be a cowboy, I always wanted to rodeo. Rode a few steers in my day. Never rode, rodeo or anything like that. I just always hopped on after we branded them or something like that,
Take the long way around.
Took the long way home? I don't know. Fuck, I got a lot of good calf wrestling stories. First time I really remember wrestling a calf, I was pretty young. I was probably 13, 14. finally got into pen, and we always branded. We always branded with obviously a hot iron, but we always use 2 big propane bottles. Just branded old school, cut old school, never banded. Never burned any horns because all our Angus was pulled. But Travis Goodmanson, Bob's son, was a wild bastard. I mean, I love Travis, but he was a wild son of a bitch. And I remember I took this little squirrely fucking runt. I mean, the fucker was laying down in the pen getting trampled, so it wasn't much to get him down to wrestle him. And I get on a leg, and I'm fucking fresh off the head. So I mean, I think I probably did 4 or 5 legs with my old man at this time, just learning. And as a leg guy, as a seasoned leg guy, you cover the ass with your boot for scours, because scours is it's something that it's a diarrhea of the calf. I don't know what, there's something with their rumens or something in their body or in their stomachs, and it squirts. I mean, she's a squirter, you know what I mean? And I didn't cover that ass, probably because I didn't think I was strong enough to hold that other leg back, you know what I mean? Because you kind of got to sit back like this, you get your leg up like that, So you got one on the first leg, the top leg, and the other leg is your leg is holding back that other leg, and kind of brace. So your left leg would be, your right leg would be farther down on like the hoof of the calf, and then my left leg was kind of like on the thigh of it, when it should have been covering the ass. Well, anyways, when Leonard came around and hit him with that fucking branded iron on the stomach and the hind corners, there, it fucking shot, and it caught me right in the fucking face. You know what I mean? And I wanted to let go right there, Well, man, I was on the head, and I knew the fuck I'd be in for it if I did. And Travis's fucking dickhead ass, he tells everybody to look at Tommy, and I got, shit all over my fucking face, you know what I mean? I'm trying not to cry. And he comes up to me after we get done with that calf, and I wipe my face, and he slaps me on the ass and tells me it builds character. And I thought that was the funniest thing ever, dude. I don't know how to just fucking... But I was pretty fucking meek and shy that day after that, You ever wrestled a calf before, Bo?
I ran down a baby deer one time.
Okay. No calf?
Can't say I've ever wrestled a calf.
Good time. Good time. You'll never forget the smell of that.
Went cow tipping.
You can't go cow tipping.
Why?
I mean, it just don't work like that.
Yeah, you go tip them over.
They don't sleep standing up.
They don't?
No. They lay down and sleep like the rest of us. Yeah, I mean, I thought we'd go cow tipping. My old man convinced me to go cow tipping when I was young. Went out there for nothing.
That's like chasing snipe or catching snipe in a gunny sack. You ever do that?
No.
Yeah, that's not really a thing either, I guess.
Yeah, it's a myth, huh?
Yeah.
But speaking of Bobby Gibsonson, he had an infamous 4-mile ride, they called it, chasing all his head, and the first year out, so it took about 4 years for my old man to trust me to go on this 4-mile ride. And the first year I get to go, shit, I make it. I mean, I just get my rig out of the fucking horse trailer, and it's me, my Uncle Nate, and my dad. And I make it. I got a pop in my hand, and I'm riding with just one hand sitting down there, and I'm fucking, my elbows resting on my thigh, and my thumb's working the throttle there, and I hit a fucking rut, and my fucking, it jarred my fucking knee, so that in turn jarred my fucking throttle, and I tipped that thing right over on top of me, dude. And my old man came running up.
What are you talking? I thought you were talking about a horse, unloading a horse. Are you 4-wheeler?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And
The iron horse.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Best horse you can have.
Yeah.
And my old man comes running over. Probably scared as. Yeah, I'm working on it. Working on the. Now you got me all messed up.
Iron horse.
Yeah, the iron horse. He comes running over. Probably scared as hell, And I'll never forget. Why'd you see this hand? Because I'm stuck underneath this thing, and I'm screaming, crying. You know what I mean? And I just made it out of the horse trailer. You know what I mean? So my old man ain't too impressed right now. My grandpa just took off, and granted, we're like 70 miles from home, because we're in somebody else's pasture, you know. And I just see my dad's hand come over and rip that 4-tracks up off me, and before that thing even landed back on 4 wheels, he's already digging into me. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell are you doing, Thomas? That's what that's all he ever called me, is Thomas.
Would you tip it off the ramp?
I rolled it on top of me. Oh no, I hit a rut.
Oh.
I hit a rut and then like a dip, and that was just enough. I was like,
well, I would have. You should have got back after him and told him this is a horrible spot to park to unload.
No, well, I picked where I went. Oh. I was 5 minutes after unloading. We were already into it.
Yeah, okay.
It wasn't just backing it out.
I thought you just backed her out of the trailer and
dumped
it over.
No. We unloaded. Dad lined me out what I was gonna do, what I was gonna see. And then I took off. We were just spreading apart pretty much. I mean, we were like 20 feet apart, and I'm already on my back like a damn turtle.
Right.
And so my Uncle Nate comes over, and my handlebars are all tore up. Everything's messed up, Grandpa's gone. There ain't no getting a hold of Grandpa, And no one could ride this thing. No one could dare chase cattle with it, just in case something hairy happens. You know what I mean? And I didn't really know where we were at.
Were you guys in the Badlands, I suppose, huh?
Oh, everything's pretty much Badlands, but it's not at the same time. Where we're at. And Nate's not happy at me, and Uncle Nate's never been not happy with me before. My old man's pissed. You know what I mean? Digging into me, and Nate kind of looks at my old man, and then my old man and Nate kind of look at me, and Nate's like, "Well, I'll limp this thing home." And I'm like, I don't want to limp it home because I don't want to be around my dad anymore. You know what I mean? But I knew I couldn't have found my way home. And so Nate takes off. My old man tells me to drop my pop, and I can't have one until we get done riding. And I got a 4 to 10 mile ride. I mean, if I rode it straight as a crow fly, it would have been 4 miles. But I mean, a lot can happen there when you're chasing cattle. So we get into it, right? We get into this ride, and everything's going smooth. And we got to go pick up a batch of bulls, because we're gonna split those off, because we're chasing these heifers, because they were gonna, after the brand, we're gonna mother them up, and we had to obviously get their calves in to brand, Well, Bob wanted to put these bulls over in the next pasture over to where he's branding at or something like that. I don't remember why. We had to pick up these bulls, and I never chased bulls before, and I didn't know what the hell I was getting myself into, My old man said it's going to get a little hairy out here, but don't get in between them. Whatever you do, don't get in between them. You know what I mean? And I knew not to get in between them, because I've seen my old man get tuned up by a bull twice, and that's, talk about scary, dude, And so the ride started off pretty rough, but it's about to get a whole lot rougher, So I get into these bulls, and because they were, you only have about 1 or 2 bulls per pasture, you know what I mean? And I think Bob had about, 8 to 10 bulls, because he had about 400 head of cattle. So we're the first set of bulls, they start fighting, because whenever a new bull sees it, or whenever 2 bulls meet after they haven't been together for a while, they fight. They got to establish dominance. Well, everything goes good till we get all these bulls together, and then all hell breaks loose. It's nothing but it's a tornado. You know what I mean? And these dicks are swinging everywhere.
Biggest dick measuring contest
Right.
I've ever seen.
But these fuckers are mean. They're Hereford bulls, and Herefords are usually pretty docile. Well, it happened. This shit storm happened to happen in the middle of a prairie dog field. You know what I mean? And a bull in a bullfight with a bull's hoof in a prairie dog hole don't end up too good. And I'm sitting back watching this. My old man's trying to break it up. He's getting tore up. I saw one bull get him on 2 wheels. So my old man just got out of there. And right when my old man was peeling out of there, I saw this bull drop his leg into this prairie dog hole, but he was like trying to dig into this other bull, So I thought because he was the aggressor at this point, But out of nowhere, another bull comes in and takes him like on the front half, his 2 legs, but that leg was stuck in that prairie dog hole, and it broke that hoof, or broke that right at that little wrist area. And I'll never forget the sound of that fucking bull's moo. I mean, it was just, it was ear-piercingly just, you know, it was, but high-pitched, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. And I just knew that no one had a gun, you know? We had to limp this thing all the way back to Bob's pen, and then we had to tell him what happened, you know? And that's a hell of a day for Bob there, you know? Lose a bull like that. I don't even know how much a bull costs, but a lot of money, you know? And to have one go out like that, pretty avoidable. I guarantee if he had somebody better than me chasing, wouldn't have happened. You know what I mean? Because I would have been able to get in between them or something, you know? Once I saw that leg going down there, I should have. Now I think I would have gone in there, and I would have just rammed that other bull before it got to him, you know? But I was a kid, you know? What do you do? The old man wasn't happy with me there either. You know what I mean? Because he was already pissed. He was already fired up, so anything, it was already done, you know? Yeah, I got a lot of crazy old stories about the old man. Like one time my old man always had me dig dirt. You know, like I told you about him sloping. Old Wayne was all about the slope. Well, anyways, Joel Trumpauer of JTI Services, fuck, I hated that guy when I was growing up. He had a dump trailer, and he'd always bring us topsoil. Well, anyways, he brought this big load of topsoil for us to do some dirt work around our garage. And my old man was on his hands and knees doing something on the ground, and I was just pissed. You know, I had to work. I couldn't hang out with my friends. You know what I mean? Because the cute girl next door was playing on a trampoline. I hear him playing. You know what I mean? I want to go over there, man. You know. And I pony up with this wheelbarrow, and I just chuck it. You know what I mean? Oh, I put a little too much stank on it, and that by golly, that handle of that wheelbarrow came down and hit him right in the spine. And I'll never forget his back arched up and his look on his face. All I could do was just book it in the house, and I hid in my room or in my bed. You know what I mean? Ooh, was he pissed when he came and found, because he found me. You know what I mean? Yeah, he didn't hit me or nothing like that. Yeah, man, that was crazy. Good old Wayne. Sorry about that, old man. Built character, though, right? You know what I mean? Yeah, old Wayne. He didn't like me when I was a kid, I don't think. I probably wouldn't like me either. Yeah, and whenever it was a time to go to work, Wayne, I used to hate it. He always opened the door to get off work. Thomas, where you at? That's all he'd say. I knew it was time to go to work, you know what I mean? Fuck, I hated that so much. I mean, I'm glad he did it, but I mean, I hated it. I knew 4:30 came around. You know, I mean, I was just getting in the zone to work all day long, because he'd work me from the time he got off work, and we wouldn't shut it down until 10:30, 11, you know? And then I'd get up and go to school every morning, you know? Or when my mom worked at Bethel, we'd work until, because she worked a night shift. And I think she got her first break at 11:30, so we work until 11 o'clock, and then we go to Taco John's, get
Six-pack and pound.
No, we get meat and potato burritos.
Mm.
And then we'd go sit up with her on her break and eat, and then they'd talk or whatever, and I'd cry to my mom about how I had to work, and she'd be like, it builds character, or something like that, you know what I mean? And I remember one time when I was in 4th grade, my mom worked nights, and I wanted to go to that, you remember that gone fishing thing? Did you ever do that gone fishing? Like, to stay off drugs or whatever? Like, go fishing, don't do drugs, or something like that. It was something like that. It was at Spring Lake Park in Williston. And I wanted to go so bad. My mom was sleeping in my grandparents' bed, and I kept waking her up. Can we go? Can we go? Can we go? And she was kind of giving me the 10 more minutes thing, or maybe even no. But I never took no for an answer in anything, you know? Unless it was like my girlfriend, obviously, you know? But I never took no for an answer from my mom, because I knew I could always get her to do something for me. And I'm sorry about that, Mom. And I kept her up, so she had a terrible day at work, you know, because she didn't get any sleep because of me. So then her and my old man devised this plan that they were gonna he was gonna work me, you know, like he always did, because God forbid my mom take away his free labor because I do something wrong, and then I had to stay at work with her all night and then go to school to have them show me what it was like. Well, the Lord wasn't working in my favor that night because somebody died at like an hour into my session at work with her, you know what I mean? So then she had to send me home. And I think my old man was too burnt out, but I'll never forget that moment where shit went hairy at her job because I was kind of like falling, like I was by the nurse station, and someone like a code red or something like that happened. The old lady went to cardiac arrest, and then all the ambulance came. The next thing I know, my dad's ushering me out all fast while I see this gurney with a obvious person lump that's covered coming out. Yeah. So that was something there, man. R.I.P. to whoever you were there. Somebody's grandma. I can't believe I got away with that one. Yeah, folks weren't too happy with me there. You know what I mean?
When were they?
Not. They weren't too proud. They weren't too proud,
That was for the later years. Years of now.
I think the first time my old man was proud of me is when, my old man always instilled great work ethic in me, you know what I mean? Because he was always the best hand, you know what I mean? Growing up. Like, everybody said, oh, you're Wayne's son, like, oh, your dad was something special when he was a kid,
What happened to you?
Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? So I was always trying to live up to my dad's reputation, you know what I mean? My dad was always very hard on me. Like, the rest, like, my cousins who could go play on forward and stuff like that, I couldn't. I was moving panels, chasing cows, you know what I mean? Always working. And, I think the first time he was really proud of me is when, I had an opportunity to go ride forward with those kids. And I wanted to hang out with the boys, you know what I mean? We weren't even working, but, you know what I mean? It was either go fetch some beer or go ride with the boys, and I decided to stay and fetch some beer because them old boys had some good stories, some good cowboy stories, Yeah, that's probably the first time. I mean, my old man never really said he was proud of me until I got older, but I mean, I could just tell he was. That's a boy, you know what I mean? But yeah, everybody was always trying to like. I can vividly remember everybody was trying to like tell my dad to quit being so hard on me all the time and stuff like that. And that I'm not him, you know what I mean? And stuff like that, Like my Uncle Nate was big on that. My Uncle Nate would give him hell. This little guy, my old man was huge, but my old man respected my Uncle Nate. It's hard not to, Military man, man's man, good dude, Solid dude. Got a lot of great stories, Uncle Nate. I remember when he gave me he got me when I was like 12, 13. He got me one of those black dots or whatever, the archery targets, and he gave it to me. It was Christmas Day or Christmas night, and he said, "Now, Tommy, when you open this, I want you to yell, Uncle Nate, you're the shit." You know what I mean? But I wasn't old enough to swear yet. And sure shit I did, And he would just smile ear to ear, man. Uncle Nate, he wasn't shit, though. He always took good care of me, man. Well, everybody took good care of me. Everybody took good care of Tom. I was always pretty spoiled, If you couldn't tell. Had a pretty good life, pretty blessed, Grew up with a lot of great folks. What about you?
Yeah.
Got a lot of breaks in my day. Like when I first came out to the farm there, my Uncle Ordine, didn't know him, but yeah, he wasn't my Uncle Ordine at the time because it was the first time I met him, but my Uncle Ordine knew I probably wasn't going to be in too great a hands with my old man, so he took me, instead of sitting in the old International Harvester all day combining wheat, I drove the grain truck with him, And in between loads, our first, second load, he took me to go shoot his 22, but it was like, I don't even know what kind of action this is. I've never seen an action like it since, but you pulled it back. It was like a single shot, but like it, and you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you pulled it back to cock it, like a pistol, but it wasn't. It was just a little plug, like a little round thing. Mm-hmm. Well, I went to go pull that thing back, and it was pointed at the ground, but it was pointed right at my boot, and I let it go too soon, and it went off, and thankfully that thing missed my toe by like a hair. You know what I mean? So Ordine had to load it for me every time. Yeah, right. I was so scared. I was so gun shy. I'll never forget when Uncle Ordine told me I was going to go shoot that gun. I looked at my dad, and he could just tell I was scared. And he's like, "Thomas, it won't kick." But the last time he told me that, when he gave me my 20 gauge, and he told me that to shoot it like it was a 22, it didn't kick. That thing whooped my ass. I dropped the gun, and I started crying. Because I didn't have it next to my shoulder, And I was balling at the gun range, too. Holy cow, my old man was half-cocked.
Like 6?
No, I was probably like 12, 10, 12.
I remember the first time I shot a 12 gauge. We didn't have those 20 gauges. We went straight to 12 gauge.
Okay, girls. How old were you when you shot 12 gauge?
Probably about 8 or 9 fucking things.
Holy fuck. You hear that, Pete? He says 8 or 9, shoot a 12 gauge.
I'm serious.
I'm sure you are.
Fucking sucked. I hated it.
Yeah, it's a lot to take for an 8 or 9-year-old.
Yeah, it wasn't until I was about 14 or 15 before I could take that.
That was old. Remington 870 or what?
Yeah, the 870.
Poor
Remington.
man with Benelli. Damn good gun though.
We used to go through with those 500 round 22 shells in the
Yeah,
box.
a brick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd like go through that in a winter, just shooting, or like a spring fall time, shooting beavers out of the river. And then we had the pull top, or whatever you call that little knob that you pull back to load it.
Oh, you had that same action?
Mm.
Oh, what do they call that action? You don't know. Yeah, right. But it's a unique action, isn't it?
You just pull it back.
I bet you Pete would know. I'm all riding Pete's dick right now. But that dude's got a lot of guns, dude. He shoots a lot of guns too, and he reloads a lot. That's one art I want to get into. My old man's a reloading master. I really want to learn how to reload. I knew how to do it when I was young because I always helped my old man reload. I remember one time I put the bullet in backwards on a round, and he was pissed. It's like, you want to shoot that, Thomas? You'll kill yourself. One time I almost killed myself shooting a gun, dude. My dad got my mom this pink cheap pistol from Scenic Sports, and somehow, I wanted to shoot it. My uncle shot it, and I was like, Dad, I want to shoot this thing. Mom, I want to shoot this thing. My dad was like, No, Thomas, don't shoot your mom's gun. Mom was like, You can go shoot it because my dad and my uncle were drinking at this time, and
because you're expert gunsmith.
Yeah, right, gunsmith. And I go out and shoot and somehow double load it or something. Something happened, and I shot it and it blew up. And a piece of the action came back and hit me in the cheek, and I thought I was dead. I closed my eyes, and I kept my eyes closed. And it was night, and I just remember seeing it blow up, the muzzle flare. And then that thing hit me in the eye. I thought it, somehow shot myself in the face, and I thought I was just dead. Yeah, my mom was so pissed, my old man.
I will never give you a gun or be around you with a gun after these stories.
Just 'cause I shot Jarrett and thought I shot myself?
I mean, you need to go take...
Actually, I got another bad gun story.
You need to go take hunter safety again.
I got slid on through by that old dude. Jarrett just got this brand new AR-15, and we go out behind my house to go shoot it, right? And he's like right next to me, but behind me a little bit. And the trigger was had like a feather trigger on it, and I didn't know what the safety wasn't on. And I got to put my hand around it, you know what I mean? Not thinking that trigger was so light, it pops off.
Oh, God, dude.
Yeah, old Jarrett, man, I miss you, dude. Crazy times, man. He's still alive, by the way, folks. It's not like he's dead.
I remember, we always had the Red Ryder BB guns growing up.
Yeah.
I'd shoot frogs out of the little creek that we had, just point blank. Yeah, it was that guy. But I remember one
Jeffrey
time,
Dahmer.
Yeah, I shot this. We had this big tree in kind of the middle of our yard, and I shot that son of a bitch, and the BB came back, dude. And I'm not even kidding. It skinned my eye right here. Like, I felt.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Yeah, I felt the graze of it, and I actually, you're not gonna believe this, but I saw the BB for a split second, dude. Like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, saw it for a split
like,
second.
Just like the Christmas
No,
story.
I believe you saw it. That not like they're moving too fast,
Yeah.
especially after ricochet.
Yeah, but I mean, the way it came straight back at me. Like, what are the chances of that? Shooting a wood tree, like with bark and shit?
Could have been hardwood.
No, dude. No, it wasn't hardwood. It was a tree with bark on it. Bark's all different.
Yeah.
Shape. How would you get a straight back bounce off of that?
Well, you somehow seemed to mess that one up.
I did.
Yeah. Well, you're pretty good at that.
I didn't mess it up. I was shot right where I was aiming.
I remember. I was speaking of Uncle Nate. We were staying at Uncle Nate's house because when the boom hit, my parents sold that house we remodeled. And my old man's a real thinker, kind of like me. He sold it without having a house to live in, so we went to live with my Aunt Lori and Uncle Nate. Me, my mom, and him. And Nate always treated me like a man. You know what I mean? So he gave me access to his guns. Well, at least he's 22, and go knock yourself out, kid. If you ain't got nothing to do out here at the farm,
Go shoot yourself in the foot.
And so it was just me there, and I found some extra 22 bullets I didn't think we had, and because I shot through probably a brick and a half. Cause my old man always bought me bullets. You know what I mean? He always kept me stocked up with 22 bullets until Obama hit office, and then it was like the big red scare with 22 bullets. You remember that? So my old man bought a bunch of bricks. Well, bought Scenic Sports out of bricks at 22 shells, and would like ration them to me, And he kept a couple for himself, of course, probably most of them. And I remember it was Eagle 22 shells. Remember those red Eagle cases with the eagle on them? And he'd give me like one or two of those every so often, You know how in a brick or in just one of those boxes of 100 or whatever, you just get those those little. They probably got like 10 to 20 of them in them. You know what I'm talking about? He give me like one or two of those. Well, anyways, I found an extra one somewhere laying around Nate's garage. And I was just popping shit off. And then I was like walking back to the house, just about done. And I saw this like bluebird or robin or something like that. And I shot it. And I'll just never forget how terrible I felt after shooting that thing. Like, I'm not going to eat it for one. And that's my old man always preached that. You don't shoot what you don't eat. Just like you don't catch what you don't eat. I don't give a shit what it is. You don't shoot. You know what I mean? You don't take what you can't eat or what you don't eat. Unless it's like a
Houston's.
Yes, right. And I shot that robin, and I just felt so heartless and so guilty. You know what I mean? For shooting it and not eating it. So I thought the best thing for me to do was give it a proper burial. So I did, right next to that tree where I shot him. You know what I mean? Put a little rock there, R.I.P. to that robin. And that reminds me of another story here about Nate. Remember my boy Nate? That shouts out to you, Nate. I'm sorry about what you're going through right now. But me and him, we just got off work or something like that. We were messing around, and we see this dead cat on the road, And we try to figure out whose cat it is. We go knocking on doors, you know what I mean? See if this is your cat, Can't figure out whose cat it is, And this thing's just in the back of my truck. So we go to my grandparents' house, grab a couple shovels, and we went and buried it next to the highway, like by the dike in Williston, that big corner. And I was like, I feel like we should say something, after we buried it, And I started out with, I would say something about 9 lives, but then Nate just starts laughing, and we couldn't stop laughing. And then, I don't know what else I said, but I just.
You guys hit it with the car?
No, it was already dead when we found it.
Oh.
But we wanted to, we thought it was some kids, probably, I'd want to know if someone killed my cat. I hate my cat, though. My old lady loves my cat, though. My cat's got a badass name, though. His name's Hank, after Hank Williams, the first, or Junior. I don't like that Hank third guy. Man, I do not like that dude's music.
If we saw cats like 10 miles away from a farm, we'd shoot it.
Why?
Because they kill the birds.
They do not as much as an owl will kill birds.
So
and a cat will not kill. I mean,
a pheasant, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's dreamed up. Who told you that?
Well, you know that they don't.
Only thing I can think them doing to a pheasant would be taking some eggs, but I don't even see that.
Like chicks, they would.
Man, a rooster or a hen would mess up a cat in short time, easily. Unless it's like hunting with a pack of cats or kittens,
Nah, I never liked cats anyway.
Well, man, one time we had a bunch of barn cats at the farm. Well, man, had to go shoot them, dude. And talk about heartbroken. You're gonna look it up now. See if cats kill pheasants.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about heartbroken, dude. But it's just one thing you have to do, man. Because they're all getting infected with stuff, lice. Ugh. Lice is a hell of a thing, man. You ever seen a cow covered in lice?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, that and flies. Eat that thing alive, man. Talk about getting eaten alive. Oh. Talk about getting eaten alive. I saw, I was riding forward by myself one time, and I remember this stench just hit me, dude. Out of nowhere, man. And I rounded this corner right before Babe's place out at the farm, and what do you got there?
Nothing. I was trying to listen to your story.
And I see this carcass of this cow, and it was bloated, but the stomach was waiting out. But the stench of that rotten meat was just horrendous, man. Like, I'll never forget that smell. You know what I mean? Have you ever smelled like a rotting carcass of an animal before? It's horrendous, isn't it?
Yeah, dude, we had a dog. We'd shoot the beavers in the river.
Yeah.
And our dog
would eat them?
He would drag them back up on the yard. So I'd have to go scoop this fucking bloated, stinky beaver back to the river. And, oh, God, that was the worst smell ever.
Yeah. pretty putrid, isn't it? Yeah, man. That's the worst, dude. That is the worst. How would you stop cats from killing birds? That's a bird, not a pheasant. Yeah, we'll kill a robin.
Birds, dude.
Yeah, I understand that, but it wouldn't kill a pheasant.
This is game birds.
I call bullshit.
That's at Audubon.
Why don't you talk while I look it up on my computer?
They kill in their first year of life because they're agile enough to hunt down the birds. Chicken pecking over there.
All kinds from house cats to skunks and coyotes. They all eat whatever they can find, from eggs to adult pheasants. Okay, another major problem is hawks. Back in the 60s and 70s, when DDT problems were killing off birds of prey, their numbers were way down. Yeah. Weird. So, my sister lives in Texas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Haven't really talked to her. I hope she's doing all right. Texas
Yeah,
is
what's going on down there?
Man, they got let me look it up real fast. They got a lot going on down there right now.
Just
I'd
putting
say.
that thing to work tonight.
Well, why not? It's here.
No, I'm just glad you got it. Just a bunch of ice storms and no electricity, it sounds like.
Yeah, and then Ted, your buddy Ted, your Uncle Ted Cruz is in Cancun vacationing. You know what I mean? So he's not looking too good there.
Was that the governor of Texas or something?
That's the first thing. One night in Cancun, Ted Cruz's disastrous decision to go on vacation during Texas storm crisis. What's really going on in Texas right now? I wish we could put an overlay for the folks on there. Nearly 500,000 people remained without power on Thursday morning in Texas after an unprecedented winter storm hit the state. Earlier in the week, people across the state struggled to stay warm and find enough food and clean water. Damn. Talk about third world country status. In the ongoing dangerous freezing conditions, millions of people across the state have been issued a boil water notice after the storm caused widespread blackouts at water treatment facilities. Man, can you believe that? Look at all these propane bottles they got going on to boil their water because they have no power. That's sad. Man, let's pray for these folks. Meanwhile, the state's political leaders have been inadequate in their response, if not completely absent. Man, they really need our prayers right now. Republican Texas Senator Ted Cruz came under fire Thursday after he was photographed boarding a flight to Cancun, Mexico for a family vacation as millions of people in his state struggled to stay warm. Whew, Ted Cruz. Smooth one, buddy.
It's no coronavirus, so who cares?
What? Who cares about what? What do you say?
Well, the thing, Trump would have already had people in there saving the country, saving the state. No.
Anyways, folks, yeah, we pray for you guys. Well, at least I pray for you guys in Texas. Sounds like Bo doesn't care, but yeah, I hope you guys
I
get
didn't
some.
say I didn't care. I said, it's a whole different story when this fake ass coronavirus is out, and look at how they answered to the needs of that. But then this goes on, and dude goes on vacation.
It says, in reality, the Electric Reliability Council of Texas, ERCOT, so it's ERCOT, has a monopoly on power across the state, managing electricity for 90% of Texas. Wow. However, Texas official power companies and ERCOT knew well in advance that the winter storm was coming and did seemingly little to prepare ahead. We've broken down how the state's ongoing disaster started and what you can do to help. Wow. So they knew about it and didn't do anything.
That's just America's infrastructure. How easily we could...
Hold on. Snowfall started across Texas on Sunday after a polar vortex. I heard of that today at work, and I didn't believe that was the actual thing it was called. That is crazy. A polar vortex fueled a historic storm across the entirety of the United States. On Monday, at least 150 million people nationwide were under ice or winter weather advisories as the storm continued to intensify throughout the week as much of the country experienced record-setting weather. Okay, what were you saying now?
Just how weak our grid is and how easily we could all be in that same situation.
Our power grid?
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like.
You
Yes
think
and
it's
no.
true?
I mean I understand that completely what you're saying. I think for the lower states that are not used to experiencing this weather, and the weather they're experiencing now is unprecedented, like they said. So I can see that happening, but I don't think it's gonna happen in North Dakota, Montana, even Iowa. You know?
No, I'm talking like even like like a wave from like a solar flare could knock out our whole electrical system, like from the sun. You know,
A solar flare is in like what do they call those things that knock out power? Um, I don't even know what a solar flare is. Let's look that up. Solar flare. A solar flare is a sudden flash of increased brightness of the sun on the sun, usually observed near its surface and in close proximity to a sunspot group. So how does that? Powerful flares are often, but not always, accompanied by a corneal mass ejection. Even the most powerful flares are barely detectable in total solar irradiance, the solar constant. So how does that have to do with anything with knocking out our power?
I'll read more into it.
Well, it says here's this Asian dude that I've seen on like
Type in Ken solar flare.
solar flare warning. Michu Kaku fears we're sitting ducks for crippling solar activity. Solar flare knockout power. Yeah, right there. The most famous impact of this space weather was the Quebec blackout of 1989, where solar flares knocked out radio signals and a massive CME made contact with the power grid, knocking out power to the city of Quebec for 12 hours. The solar storm even interfered with the satellites and the space shuttle Discovery. Wow. EMP is what I'm thinking of. So a solar flare can cause an EMP. Look at you. How do you know about solar flares? What do we have for time?
12 minutes.
Oh, under an hour?
Can you see that?
My sweet thunder shades on.
47 minutes.
Yeah. I'm just pretty excited for Pete. Hopefully Pete doesn't let me down tomorrow. Hopefully he's here. I can see him bailing out though. He's pretty unreliable when it comes to his timelines.
Was he coming from Williston?
Yeah, he said he's coming for the day tomorrow. I gotta get up at 11 tomorrow. Dang, it's already almost 1 o'clock. Shut her down here, huh? You got another smoke on you?
Where's yours?
I'm out. I know, I'm running you dry.
Don't smoke it down here.
Okay.
It stinks up there too bad.
All right, folks. We love you. And let your dreams stay dreams. Have a good night.